live, Locked On Mavericks. We decided just to go live, hit the button, go live, see what happens. Dallas Mavericks, get Kyrie Irving, bring it back, bring in Seth Curry for the third time, and now here we are.
Here we are. Try and tweet this thing out.
I guess we'll do a real intro on today's Locked On Mavs.
I'm Luka Doncic, and this is Locked On Mavericks podcast.
Mavericks, NBA champions. Bang! Bang! It's good, and the Mavericks have won the game.
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
Loyalty never fades away.
And welcome. You're locked on to the Dallas Mavericks. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member and NBA channel manager for the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for being part of the show and being here live, making Locked On Mavs your first listen or a live listen today. Join the Raccoon Squad, be in every day, or subscribe and follow to this show for free. Just search Locked On Mavericks wherever you get your podcasts or on YouTube to join the 25,000 strong. The best way you can help us grow the show is to get in the chat. Get in the chat.
Let's go.
Curious what everybody's saying in the chat. What do they think about the Kyrie Irving deal? What you think about the Seth Curry deal and all that? We'll get into that. Support the show. Subscribe to our subtext. I've been texting rumors all day. I've had multiple people say, hey, this was so awesome to be able to have somebody just text me the rumor instead of having to sift through all the weird stuff that happens on Twitter right now. So, and then I'll send my thoughts on things. Isaac will send thoughts. We'll do AMAs, all that kind of stuff. Click the link in the description or text the number that is on the subtext. And joining me, as always, my co-host, writer, contributor at Mavs.com. The return reject, the One More Thing King. What you got for me, Isaac Harris?
Let's go. All right, everybody can breathe.
Can we let it ride?
Well, I mean, I think this song will last longer than those meetings lasted for Kyrie.
Let it ride. Somebody said in the chat, let it ride for Seth. That's hilarious.
Hey, we love Seth. Third time's a charm. But no, I thought it was the funniest thing about how quick the Kyrie Dallas thing happened. I mean, we've been joking about this all week on Locked On Mavs here that, like, all right, he's got to have another team come in. All the reporting's been just so strong that there's no other suitors. There's got to be another team connected to Kyrie. And, I mean, the last 24 hours has just been a cluster fun. And and it was just so fun just to watch all the stuff of, like, this, like, generating content of, like, hey, this team's gonna meet with Kyrie. Well, this team is, and it's like all these different people, and then he just signs back with Dallas, and they're like, oh, so what about all the meetings? But
about those meetings. Shout out to our guy Bill Ryder from CBS, who was tweeting about all the meetings that Kyrie was going to have. He said, sources tell CBS this was at 1:58 today, so like 3 hours before free agency. Said, on top of Dallas and Phoenix, Kyrie will meet with Miami, Houston, the Lakers, and the Clippers.
Yeah, my guy. He walked that thing back quick.
And then like a little while later, he said, to clarify, some of Kyrie's meetings may now be spread over the next few days. And then he actually like walked it all the way back and said that while Kyrie Irving had planned earlier in the day to meet with several teams about free agency, Dallas's 3-year, $126 million offer changed those plans. Quote, we planned to take the meetings, but decided that Dallas would be our place, says Shatilla Riley Irving, who is Kyrie's agent and stepmom. First of all, let's talk about the Kyrie Irving deal. Initial thoughts on the deal when it first came and rode across your phone.
Yeah, I mean, it was, shorter than I thought. Anyway, I was going to make a joke.
It's a flat deal. I mean, like, it's a pretty flat deal for him.
Yeah. It is a pretty flat deal. But I mean, no, this whole time, I've been expecting, a 3-for-1, at least $40 million a year going, a 3+1 player option on the last year. I was expecting around the 160 range, somewhere through there. So when it came through the 3 years 126, I was like, wow, that's a win, for both sides. Listen, no matter what number it came in at, all the national people are going to throw a fit. So if you're a Mavs fan that's, getting all up in, like, this was predictable. They could have handed him $10 million and somebody's going to get upset. Like, how can you give Kyrie Irving $10 million? The moment they made the trade for Kyrie is the moment you decided to pay him. Like,
yes,
that's, if you want, I tweet this out because I've seen, Ryan McDonough, which, shout out to his, GM experience and that tenure. But, he had his little thing on NBA TV, and it's like, hey, if you want to criticize the trade and go back and talk about like the investment into trading for Kyrie and taking that chance, sure. There you go. That's where they argue. But to be like, hey, why is Dallas paying him right now? This is crazy. And I'm like, no, it makes sense because you've already made the investment and you can't let him leave for nothing. You have Luka, your win now. Like you got to pay him. So I just didn't like, it didn't make any sense to me of like, if somebody wants to make that point right now of like, why is Dallas paying him? You have to. This is the bed they're already made. So that decision was already made.
100%. And you saw Matt Moore, a lot of people probably saw Matt Moore complaining about the deal as well, and saying that he didn't like the deal. But my point back to him, and he even texted me, and I was like, hey, the Mavs made their bet already. Like they're already in the Kyrie Irving business. If you're in the Kyrie Irving business, you can't just lose him for nothing. You can't just say, oh, well, we'll just let him go. We'll go ahead and let Kyrie go and then replace him with what? You weren't getting Fred VanVleet. You couldn't clear enough money to be able to get that deal. Holy cow. And then you also have to, there's going to be the people that say, who were the Mavs bidding against? All right, here's who the Mavs were bidding against. Kyrie's ego, right? You're bidding against that guy who in the past, very recently, has been disgruntled in Brooklyn for a couple reasons. You could bring up a couple reasons, but the one that he's most publicly talked about and said was the reason was that he, that they didn't give him the deal that he wanted, the business side of things. They didn't let him be who he, wanted to be, and that kind of thing we've heard from him. And so they didn't give him the deal he wanted. And so it didn't work with them. And then he asked out, and then KD got traded, and then all that. You couldn't do that with Dallas. You can't bring back Kyrie and say, all right, well, we're just going to give you, no one else is offering you a deal. Nobody else can give you as much money. So we're just going to give you just as much money as, the $1 high. We're going to go $1 higher, like Wheel of Fortune style or Price is Right style, $1 higher than the next bidder. They couldn't do that because you bring him back and then all of a sudden you have a disgruntled star that has been a flight risk in the past. Like you're just playing with fire at that point. And so, you can talk about, well, the trade to bring in Kyrie, but like Isaac said, once you bring in Kyrie, you're going to pay him. You can't just let him walk. There's nobody that you can replace him with that would be as good or bring what he could on the court. And so, yeah, here we are with it. And I think it was a good deal. Like 3 years. Which I was under the impression it was going to be 4. Everybody was talking about like it was going to be 4 years. I think 3 years is a good deal, and then 136 million or 126 million, which allows them to use the mid-level exception, which is just massive.
Yeah. So the 3 years, I think, is a big win for Dallas side. I think it's a big win for, for Kyrie's side too, of everything that has happened over the past few years for Kyrie. And as much as like we're joking about the meetings and stuff, there wasn't a robust, like crazy market for Kyrie.
Oh, there was not? Is that what everyone was saying before that we were saying? And
so to get that money, I think it's a big win for him, and it's a big win for Dallas to bring him back on something that, this thing could have went up to 5 years, and we're expecting 4. And now, now you're getting this 3-year thing. Couple things with it. Tim McMahon was on ESPN, which that broadcast, man, the investment into Kendrick Perkins by ESPN, I just don't.
Let go Jalen Rose. Let go future Mavs assistant coach Jeff Van Gundy, and Kendrick Perkins. Anyway,
they brought McMahon on there to talk about the Kyrie thing, and I thought it was cool that Tim brought up that Luka has been texting Kyrie, and he even specifically said, he texted Kyrie and he's like, hey, we need you. Like we need you in Dallas. So Luka's on board. I've seen some tweets and stuff tonight that I thought was pretty funny. I was like, oh, Luka's shaking his head somewhere. I'm like, no, actually, he's pretty on board with this. And then also, Chris Haynes, I've seen a interview he did on NBA TV, and he was talking about it, and he said that Dallas wanted to get this thing done quick because they want Kyrie to help recruit, and they did get it done quick. And he said that that's what's happening now is like they're wanting Kyrie to help them out, texting some guys and recruiting and all of that. Obviously, Bruce Brown was a big target for Dallas.
Oh boy,
everybody missed out on, but super happy for him getting that money. But now, Haynes said the same thing that we're all expecting right now, that Dallas is going after the wing defenders, basically the 3-and-D guys that can fit around Luka and Kyrie. And Dallas wants Kyrie to help, recruit with that. So
yeah, coming up, let's talk about what the Mavs missed on, what the Mavs can get now, and then let's talk about Seth Curry. Seth Curry comes back for the third time. Isaac, Seth Curry is bae. Talk about that coming up. But before we do, let me tell you about Prize Picks. Prize Picks is daily fantasy made easy. You can go check out Prize Picks right now. They have all kinds of stuff for baseball. They have PGA. They have all kinds of things. All you have to do is pick 2 to 6 players, and if they will score more or less than their Prize Picks projection, this can be runner hit fantasy score. This can be birdies. This can be how many shots on goal they get in a soccer game, all kinds of different things. No competing against other people. It's just you versus the projections available. PrizePicks offers projections for any sport that you want to watch. NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, PGA, college football, men's college basketball, all kinds of stuff. Eurobasket, cricket, and more. Disc golf. Download PrizePicks app or go to prizepicks.com to sign up to play daily fantasy sports. First-time users can receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with the promo code LOCKEDON. Again, if you deposit $100, you can get $100 back with their match. Just use the promo code LOCKEDON at sign up for an instant deposit match up to $100. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us live on Locked On Mavericks. We are literally live on YouTube, and I can prove it.
Dude, there's this one guy that comes after me at least a couple times a week for wearing what do you call this? Do you call
beanie?
This you call it a beanie? Some people call it toboggan. Some people call it a togi. What do you call it in the chat? What do you call this? We're rolling a little over 1,000 right now, live viewers, but
1,000 people. Let us know. What do you call this?
Let us know what this. But this one person comes at me every week and is like, dude, you're in Dallas. You're in Texas. It's so hot there. Why are you wearing it? I'm like, dude, you make me want to wear one every day now.
I saw it. Here's like, there you go. Look, so many people. Beanie.
Yeah, beanie. Beanie. Team beanie.
There's somebody that said, I need to know who Isaac's air conditioning service person is, because if he's in Dallas wearing a a beanie and wearing like a hoodie, like I need to know who he has for AC. So hook him up.
I'm probably not in the camp that's like abiding by all the grid laws right now. Like, you get those like grid things. It's like, hey, for the good of the people, can you put your thermostat at 84?
Ideally, yeah. Can you roast alive inside your house? Like,
no, would like to not sweat. Seth Curry, baby.
Yeah, let's talk about Seth. Seth Curry comes back for literally the third time, which is wild. He signed in July 15th, 2016, July 10th, 2019, and now June 30th, 2023. He signed with the Mavericks and signed deals with them. The Mavericks have traded him just once, right? They traded him in the Josh Richardson deal. And,
shout out.
And so now Seth Curry comes back. What was your initial reaction to the Seth Curry signing?
Welcome back. Let's do this. Here's the thing about Seth. It's the worst kept secret as far as around the league that Seth is one of the best shooters in the entire NBA. He's not just and he's one of the most underrated players in the league because he's Steph's brother. And it's like, yeah, he's nowhere close to Steph and all of that, but the dude can shoot. The dude can run around screens, move off ball. I tweeted out some numbers. I'm like, hey, everybody knows he's one of the best shooters, but you start looking at that career 44% three-point shooter, shot 46%, I think, or 47% on unguarded catch and shoot shots last year. He's going to get a ton of those. 41% on catch and shoot shots in general, 40% from three last year. And I would say last year was one of his, that was the year after the Philly year that I thought he played really well alongside Embiid. So he knows Dallas. I'm pretty sure, could be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure he still has a house in Dallas.
If anyone's in the real estate game and knows if Seth Curry still has a house, let us know in the chat.
I'm going to expose myself on this one, but his wife, Callie, who is Doc Rivers' daughter.
Callie Rivers Curry.
She works for The Ringer and does podcasts and stuff about The Bachelor and stuff that I might listen to, maybe. And she has talked on there about commuting back and forth between Dallas and Philly or Brooklyn and all of that stuff. So I'm sure that didn't factor in at all.
That is insight you don't get on any other Mavericks podcast. Let me tell you that. Maybe if Callie Kaplan
I gotta get Callie Kaplan on to talk
because I saw her tweeting about that earlier. But yeah, you don't get that anywhere else.
But anyway, no, I mean, bringing Seth back. Yes, there's some roster there's some roster questions that you have of like, hey, him, Jaden Hardy, Tim Hardaway. I've been expecting Tim to be gone this whole time. So this kind of further proves that a little bit. But if he's still on the team, here's the thing about Seth is he can actually handle the ball a little bit more too. You look at some of his pick and roll numbers, like running the pick and roll, they're actually pretty dang good. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that Seth could be the third ball handler. And it's like, hey, we're going to run with Seth and Jaden as this kind of bench backcourt, duo a little bit. See where Tim fits in there, but I still expect Tim to be traded, sign and trade for Grant Williams.
Interesting. So that was my initial reaction, is that I don't think that the Mavericks can go into next season with Kyrie, Tim Hardaway, Jaden Hardy, and Seth Curry in a guard rotation and expect to be a better defense. And throw Luka in there too, but he's not 6'2", 6'4".
I mean, they're coming off the bench, but.
I know, but just as a guard rotation, like I just can't look at that and say, okay, they're going to be better this year. So I think one of those guys is the odd man out, and I think that Tim has been the guy. He's a $17 million contract. That's not a bad deal because it's declining next year. And then, like, I think there is some kind of move. We talked about so many Tim trades over the last couple of weeks.
I love that John B put in the chat, Nick never listens to Isaac while he's talking.
Listen, the last couple days, I've had like the worst moments of that.
We actually talked about it after the pod the other
where you
night.
called me out because I was literally like, look, because I'm just like staring at Twitter and it's been very bad. It's bad for my mental health.
It's like, hey man, you did it again. I literally did like few sentences and then you repeated the same sentences.
Yeah, no, that's literally I promise you, that's literally what I did. And I own up to that for sure. I have had moments where I was not listening. For sure.
But here's the coolest thing about the Seth Curry thing. As soon as the Seth thing came out, it was like, for me, it was, what's the contract going to be?
Yeah.
And because, it takes a little bit of a hit if it's like, hey, he's going to cut into some of that MLE number, some of that 12 million. But then McMahon came through and was like, hey, it's going to be the biannual exception. Sign me up for that, because that means they still have open that 12 million MLE that, that they're all, they're going after people right now.
Yeah, to sign under the biennial exception, like you just said, because I was listening to you, is $12.4 million mid-level exception that they can either use on Grant Williams fully, or they can split it up. That 41 MFL wants you to know that they're listening, so we're glad about that. And so that's huge. So the way that we've been laying out the offseason is they signed Kyrie to this lower deal, which they did. They did exactly that. Then you have the biannual and you have the mid-level. They still have the mid-level. They still have a trade they could make with Tim or something like that. And so to me, they go out and they get a center with the Tim trade. They sign Grant Williams. Is Grant Williams the first name that they're going for, or is there somebody else that you're looking at for that mid-level?
Dylan Brooks. I would say Dylan Brooks is still in the mix a little bit. I texted you earlier. I'm like, hey, you think Dallas is, is everybody waiting on what Houston's going to finish doing?
Yeah.
They hand out the money to Fred VanVleet, which I feel like I'm in the minority a little bit of saying I don't think it's that bad of a move, just because they have to. What the heck? And what kind of chat is that?
Oh yeah, you've never. These are super chats.
Oh, let's go.
I don't know if we're supposed to use them, but I turned it on. And it said, buy those glasses with eyes on them. So Isaac thinks he's at least looking.
But I don't forget what I was saying now. What were we talking? Oh, Dylan Brooks. So here's the thing with Houston. So Houston hands out all that money to Fred VanVleet, which I actually thought was an okay move because they got to spend money to get up to that 90% floor and all of that. And they need an adult in the room. And I'm a big fan of young teams that are kind of a cluster adding in an adult point guard.
Yeah.
They have some money left over in that. If they go out and they actually convince Brook Lopez to come from Milwaukee, well, then that's all their money. So could Dallas then swoop in and get a Dylan Brooks? I don't know if some of y'all are, even want Dylan Brooks, but I would say right now I'm watching the Dylan Brooks, Grant Williams stuff. Grant Williams is restricted, so Boston can match anything. So I'm just curious of what, I seen, I can't even remember who the Celtics reporter is up there, writes for the Boston Globe. I think it was the Globe. Anyway, he was tweeting out saying that Boston's basically just waiting on Grant Williams at this point, just to see what some of these offers are and all of that. So I don't know if they're just waiting to match, but it wouldn't shock me if Dallas and Boston engaged on a Tim Hardaway for Grant Williams deal.
They just signed Porzingis to an extension, and they got the Jaylen Brown. Like, I don't know how they're going to do it, like, to match Grant Williams stuff.
I mean, they got his rights, so.
I mean, I guess they can. They can try. Everyone's saying to read the super chats. I didn't read this one because he said that Locked On Cowboys is boring. So, and now I've read it. But thanks, Zay. Appreciate you for listening and being part of the Raccoon Squad and listening to us.
Appreciate it, Zay.
So, yeah, well, we're waiting on Grant Williams and the Dylan Brooks thing. I think the Dylan Brooks and the Rockets thing is done. Like, I think that Mark Stein's
Brook Lopez is done.
Brook Lopez or Dylan Brooks?
No, that's what I'm saying with so the Brook Lopez stuff, you just think it's lock Milwaukee. There's no shot with Houston because I don't think they can get them both, right?
So they had $66 million coming in, and they just paid Fred VanVleet what, like 40 for the first year,
43. So they have about 20 something left, 20 left.
Yeah. So to give Dylan Brooks more than the mid level, and to give they can't get. I don't think they can get both.
No. An underrated one that's restricted that I really, really like is PJ Washington. But I haven't heard anything on him, like nor even rumors or nobody's talking about him. I mean, I guess Charlotte's just going to chill and just say, all right, cool. We'll just match anything if he takes something. But
this is what they did last year, though. Remember, they only signed Cody Martin. That was their only signing last year with the Miles Bridges thing. So I don't know. Maybe that's just what that front office does. But
I love him though.
Locked On Hornets just hanging out, just talking about whatever, but
just chilling.
Got a bunch of questions in the subtext. I was texting with a lot of people today, and a lot of questions in the subtext were, is Seth Curry the third ball handler you guys have been talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I touched on this a little bit ago, that Nick probably didn't listen. I think it wouldn't shock me if he was considered that, just because he can handle the ball. And I mentioned this a while ago, but like when you look at some of his like pick and roll numbers and run and pick and roll, they're actually pretty dang good last year in Brooklyn. He ran some of that stuff with Embiid up in Philly. So, the point guard spot's so it just depends on what they're going for with that and what vibe they want in that second unit. And is the second unit going to be ran by Kyrie, or is it going to be, a third actually ball handler, point guard to run the show and stuff? It kind of depends, but having shooters like Seth Curry playing alongside Kyrie, playing alongside Luka, it's never a bad thing. So yeah, it's good.
I'm with you. I think that Curry. Oh, that's going to be hard. I think that Curry is somebody that you're okay handling the ball and okay dribbling the ball. Because for everybody is saying they don't need another guard. Why do they need another ball handler? For these last couple of weeks when I've been talking about it, I said, well, the only two players that you want to dribble the ball are Luka, Kyrie, and Hardy. Those are the only three players you want to dribble on this roster as of right now. And so to add Seth Curry, that adds one more of that. But I wouldn't call him a third ball handler. Like if Kyrie is out or if Luka is out, he doesn't start next to him. He doesn't become all of a sudden, oh, this guy can run the offense when those two guys are out. Like, I don't feel good about that, but I feel good about him as like a secondary playmaker, like you were just talking about.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see. I mean, it would kind of surprise me if they traded Tim for like a point guard, and I was like, all right, now we have
like a Markelle Fultz.
No, Markel's big, so he could play, like, he could defend some of the wings. That, like, if they traded Tim for like a smaller point guard, and it's like, all right, we got a smaller backup point guard with Seth, with Hardy.
Yeah,
that would kind of confuse me a little bit. But I mean, I think you got to give Nico some praise right now so far that this offseason it's moving down a path that is looking good so far. Really dang good. I mean, you start with the draft and what he did with moving back 2 spots with Bertans. Some people, aka Windhorse, couldn't understand that concept of moving Bertans off.
This can't be the real Tim Cato.
Is it?
Tim,
Prove it.
Tim, yeah, text me if this is the real Tim Cato.
Tell us what you wore in the fan interview.
No, he'll be able to look it up. Also, Reed, most excited to see in Vegas. I'm most excited to see Hardy. I'm going. I'm gonna go to Vegas. I'm excited to see Jaden Hardy score 30 points in the first game and then
He's
never
your
play
most
again.
excited?
Yeah.
I think I'm pretty excited to see Lively
on the Mavericks, but
yeah. Well, no, I'm in on the Mavs. I'm really curious to see what Lively looks like in Summer League. I've been on the record of saying, hey, I think Lively's going to hit 3 or 4 threes in a game, and everybody's going to freak out and be like, he can shoot.
How is your most excited player not Omax?
Because I know what I'm getting in Omax. I'm excited, but I know exactly what I'm getting.
I show our display names what you signed in with today?
Wait, what did I sign in with?
You signed in with your name was Omax.
Yeah,
all right, we're getting a bunch of
Prosper.
We're getting a bunch of these now. Will a dominant big to go? Well, we have to get to the finals finally. I don't think a dominant big is out there for the Mavericks to acquire right now.
I wouldn't say the Ayton thing's dead. But
that's also true. Nothing says that's dead so far.
Yeah.
The Suns went out and signed like an entire half of a roster today, with a whole bunch of different moves. But yeah, you're right that isn't dead. But other than that, I don't think he's not the dominant big that Zay is talking about with this comment though.
I guess not. Shout out to the Lakers getting Cam Reddish. It was a big time, Tracy McGrady move. Guys, y'all got to look at Yoda fell for my sarcasm on Twitter, and it's absolutely incredible. I quote tweeted one of his tweets,
Rashad Phillips,
from back in the day about calling Cam Reddish T-Mac, and yeah, he was like, facts. I'm like, oh buddy, man, this ain't real, man. But anyway,
back to Curry. Cameron says Curry's our Brunson with a better 3-point shot. I would think that is a spicy take, Cameron, and I disagree with that because what Brunson can do, Brunson was incredible at the get his own shot, score in the paint, score against anybody taller than him or whatever, beat his one-on-one mismatch. Curry's not that guy, right? He can run a pick and roll. He can hit an outside three like nobody's business. But he's not Brunson. They're very, very different players. He's going to play the Brunson role from a couple years ago, where he's going to come off the bench, but he's also going to play the Seth Curry role from a couple years ago too. So
also, are you watching Twitter right now? I don't have Twitter.
I do. I'm not listening to you, so I might as well. I have to be doing something else.
I just don't have any notifications popping up. I'm using my phone for.
I got it. Monty Morris is going to the. Miami's trading Victor Oladipo to Oklahoma City. Going back.
What's it? What are they trading it for? Just
nothing. That just literally just came up. But Sean Morgan says, I lost all my money gambling on the Mavs with this rotation. Do I have to read this in all caps? Chat, do I have to read this in all caps? If it's
of course you do.
I lost all my money gambling on the Mavs with this rotation. I'll cash out my 401k, sell my house, and make it all back.
Well, Sean, you didn't lose all your money because you just paid us $5. So let's talk about some dudes that still left that we're watching. I feel like a lot of people in the
WK has a really good point that Kyrie and Seth reunited for a third time. They played together at Duke, they played together in Brooklyn, and now played together in Dallas. I think that's pretty cool too.
Hey, would you be shocked if Kyrie helped recruit him?
No, not at all.
No, I wouldn't either. And I feel like he's I feel like I've seen multiple tweets after the Seth signing for the biannual of man, this is a really good deal for him. He could have had other, higher offers on the market, and to get him for that price, I think is pretty good cost. So anyway, let me finish just saying this about Nico earlier. Yeah. I think Nico's playing a pretty good hand right now. What he did at the draft of, walking away, trading 10 in Bertans and turning that into Derek Lively, Omax Prosper, and Rashawn Holmes, and still creating that space for the MLE. And then you obviously got Kyrie Irving to re-sign pretty quick into free agency, and now getting Seth Curry. I mean,
we lost Isaac.
I'm still going. I'm talking.
You're back. Okay, you're back. Go ahead.
How'd you lose me?
I don't know. You just were a circle.
I just think what Nico has been pulling off over the past week or so with the draft, with bringing Kyrie back, relationships and all of that playing into that. And now adding Seth Curry to super great deal. Pretty dang Nico streak here. So we'll see how he continues it. Now we just need, some defending wings.
For the chat, we'll get to the super chats in a minute. So we'll get to them kind of all at once because we do want to like talk and actually talk about some of these moves that have happened. I'm with you. I think this has been a really good move from Nico, and I think that he's played his hand really well. He could have played the Kyrie thing a bunch of different ways. We talked about how they could have gone 4 years, and that could have been a really big thing where Kyrie is all of a sudden 4 years and he's guaranteed and all that. Apparently he negotiated for the player option, which I think is something that Kyrie wanted. And that's what I think he was negotiating, but they only gave him 3 years. They didn't give him the full max. Like they could have came out and just panicked and said, all right, we got to just keep this guy no matter what. We'll give him 4 years, full max, all that, keep him. And they didn't do that. And I think that's a good bit of business, like you said. And then all the other moves, just like you said, I think every angle, every step of this offseason so far has been wins. Yeah.
I mean, I texted you earlier today. I was like, hey, is the biggest signing today for the Mavs going to be Jeff Van Gundy? So I'm glad that didn't happen.
I'm thinking about this Victor Oladipo trade that just happened. Miami trading Victor Oladipo to OKC. Do you think it's the dump so that they can get Dame? Or
did you just ask if they took a dump?
Is Miami taking a dump on OKC so that they can get Harden or Lillard?
James Harden in Miami would be hilarious because don't they have like body fat restrictions?
Yes.
In their culture?
Yes.
Heat culture?
Yes.
I mean, it could be. I don't know. I mean, his option was what, $7 or $8 million. Like that's a lot for somebody who's hasn't been playing too much. Ben in Super Chat says thoughts on Zubats.
I was gonna get to him in a minute, but yeah. Any thoughts on Zubats to the Mavericks?
No, I really like him as the stopgap center. We've been using that term here for a little bit. I think somebody wrote us the other day a subtext asking, hey, what's stopgap mean? Basically just like a 1 or 2 year, deal. If Derek Lively's your center of the future, then, how can you get somebody that you're not paying $80 million to, or like Rudy Gobert is not a stopgap center, but no. Could you trade for, a Zubats in LA and bring him in for a year or so? Yeah, sure. Go for it.
Also, we are 20 minutes. So Keith Smith just tweeted this out. We're about 18, 20 minutes away from all the extension tweets. So like we're literally going from old CBA to new CBA in about 18 minutes. We can get to some of these super maxes. Shout out to Harold. Appreciate you. Ariel says we want Boban back immediately now. I wouldn't roll that out. The minimum vibes guy.
Let's everybody tweet at Tim Cato and ask if Boban's coming back.
I love that. I love doing that. Juan said, what's the most realistic wing you think we end up with after free agency? We've been talking about Grant Williams. That's the one that I think is the most realistic. And then after that, I mean, you're talking about the Lakers were really connected to Eric Gordon. He's still out there for a deal. Jay Crowder is still out there for a deal. Is there any other wings you're looking at?
Well, I could be wrong, but I feel like the Lakers used a lot of their MLE on Vincent.
That's what I'm saying. Lakers were connected to Eric Gordon, but they used all their stuff. That they can't get him now, and so he's still out there for somebody.
But once again, like I'd prefer, like if you're asking me who I would prefer, I would love the Grant Williams. I mean, I love PJ Washington more than anybody, but he's restricted and he's super young. That's kind of a pipe dream is a little bit, but Grant Williams, PJ Washington, Dylan Brooks to an extent. I mean, I think those all three of those guys could be options, but there's trades and stuff too. Your guy, you're pretty high on Thibault, right?
Thibault, yeah, but he's restricted, and so I don't know about that and making an offer on him and trying to figure out all that. But I would be really high on him. He's the best defensive wing that's left, even with Dylan Brooks.
Yeah, I mean, like a minimum contract for Jeff Green. But yeah, I like Uncle Jeff. He's fine. I tell you, my favorite under the radar guy, and I don't know what the heck Chicago's doing, but I literally pulled up my draft profile for Io back in his draft, a few years ago, and I was a big fan of his, coming out of Illinois, It just, his frame, his size, and everything as a late first round pick. And then I just like his game. And so I don't know. I'm not saying it's MLE money or anything like that. I don't know what Chicago's doing because they have Javon Carter. They have, Levine. They have Caruso, Kobe White. They just gave a new contract to. They have all these guards. So are they going to let him go? I don't know. But if they do bring him back, what's his role? I just like him.
Yeah. The Sack Scott said, we still have a chance to get Ayton. Or are we going to use our MLE to get a cheap 5 to give our new rookie a chance? Any thoughts? So we talked about earlier, the Ayton deal is not necessarily dead. What would it look like now?
Well, I mean, the same players are still in play, right? One of the things with the Rashawn Holmes stuff is, that trade's still not official. We talked about the other day.
Sacramento.
With Sacramento, it can't be official for a bit. So, could you loop that into a bigger deal? That's what Dallas is trying to do on draft night. But, do you revisit that? It just gets, what if there's another trade out there that Tim goes somewhere else? Another cheaper contract is coming in. You loop, Phoenix in that way, and it's not JaVale as the third piece in that. It's another piece that's going with Tim and Rashawn Holmes, for Ayton. So it wouldn't shock me if an Ayton deal still happens. So
I think to Zach Scott's question though, the MLE is going to a wing. I think they still need it. They still have to try and figure out some more wing minutes.
Yeah.
To try and give out, so that Reggie's not playing 34 to 35 minutes a game. At this point, we talked about Zubats. Logan says Dodo. LOL.
I love Dodo.
We've been talking about Brooklyn for a while. Brooklyn and Atlanta are the two teams I said, all right, they're going to dump somebody because they need to get under this second apron. And today we saw one of the first moves of the day. We saw the Nets dump Joe Harris, and so they dumped him to the Pistons for nothing, a couple seconds. And so that's the move. I think now the only things that I've heard about Dorian were from. I think Mark Stein reported this, or somebody reported this, that they want at least a first or multiple firsts for Dorian and Royce O'Neal, that they've commanded first in the past, and that's kind of their threshold for it. So I don't know. I don't think I want to give up the 2027 first for Dorian at this point, to be honest. In the new CBA, they're too valuable.
Of Dorian, but no, I'm not giving up that first for him. Sorry.
This chat requires a multimedia experience. Is the
people forget about Frank
not a thing anymore because of Seth?
People forget about Frank?
Is that gone? Can we forget about Frank now?
Yeah, I think the league's forgetting about Frank. I think Frank might be getting on a plane.
But at least they have multiple guards now, right? They have Luka, Kyrie, Hardy, Curry. That's more guards than they came into last season with. Is what I'm excited about. So yeah, Reed, I think it's not a thing anymore. Brett says, how quick is the pod dropping when we trade for Siakam?
Of all the players that's mentioned out there, I don't know what they're doing with Siakam. I just go back to that report that came out, what was it, last week, of saying, it was discussed with Portland, but Siakam's been pretty adamant that he's not going to sign an extension with anybody. And that kind of shot, some of the trade stuff down. All it takes is one team that's saying, hey, we'll take a shot. We don't care if he's signing an extension or not. If Toronto does shop him, I don't know if they're shopping him still. I don't know what the heck Toronto's doing, really.
They quickly replaced Fred VanVleet with Dennis Schroeder Isaac.
Wouldn't you have offered a second for Monty Morris over that Schroeder contract?
I think I would have done both. But Raptors didn't have the space for that. But
Jakob for $20 million a year. I like their young pieces, and I've been pretty adamant that if I was Toronto, I'd keep OG, because OG is the type of guy you want on your team. I would build around him and Scotty Barnes. But and then I guess they're working on an extension for Gary Trent. I just don't know what direction they're going down.
The extension for Gary Trent didn't make any sense to me. He opted back in for 1 year, and now he's getting a future extension. And now you're like, okay, we're gonna build around him and that. I don't know what they're doing, but they seem to. I've been saying this forever. It seems like they're just asking way too much for OG, and so the Mavs don't have anything enough for Siakam, even if he's on a 1 year deal. It just seems like their asking price is just a little too high for that. But they've got to make a direction. I did the initial reaction video with Sean Woodley on Locked On NBA, he was distraught. Let me put it that way. It was after the Van Vliet thing, right after the Schroeder thing. We logged on, and he was not happy with it. But Brett, the answer is we would log on very quickly.
Yeah, that'd be a quick emergency pod.
We would be very excited about that. Would be huge for that.
Hey, thanks, Jay. Appreciate you.
Zay said happy birthday CP, which I still got somewhere, but
oh my gosh,
I don't have it on there.
That's a throwback.
That is a throwback drop.
We had a long question a while ago. What was that?
The Luka and Kyrie are 8 games above 500 when they don't play together. I think the two of them they should need to work on their chemistry in the offseason, like what Katie and Booker are doing in the Bahamas. I didn't know that Katie and Booker were in the Bahamas together.
I mean, it's pretty shocking that, two players are getting up shots with each other in a gym over the offseason. I haven't seen that before. Any teammates, playing on the same team together, I've never seen them taking shots in a gym together during the offseason. So shout out to Katie and Booker building the chemistry. Luka and Kyrie, let's get it.
Yeah, I think with Luka, though, he's playing international ball, so it's going to be a little bit difficult for them to try and hook up right now and figure that out. But I'm sure there'll be Luka's back and Kyrie's here and they're doing something. They'll at least have training camp. And
Luka looking a little skinny out there.
Oh, don't do this to me. Not now.
Are y'all Hey, let's get this thing to 2,000. We're almost at 2,000.
We're so close to 2,000.
Are y'all falling for the Luka skinny pics?
Vince wants to know if there's any news on the Drop and Dimes 20 guy. Have you been following this guy?
Is it well, which account?
Just the one. It's just the 21. There's a bunch of fake ones now, but the Drop and Dimes 21 is
I have an addiction to
You're like itching. It's like itching.
I have an addiction to it happens every trade deadline season and every free agency season. I'll find one or two accounts of just like dumb accounts that they're not sourced, they're not real, they're nothing. And I'll just follow them just for the fun of it, just to be like, oh, cool. Like, wonder what this is.
Like Ari Abraham?
Maybe this is who Ari is. Dropping dimes.
Back with a vengeance.
The dropping dimes things has been hilarious because he's switched accounts but pretty accurate.
He's been accurate on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And his Kyrie stuff was he just tweeted Kyrie, or they just tweeted Kyrie.
Yeah.
And that was it. And then they've been deactivating and reactivating their account back and forth.
His Harden thing was wild though, because that was the first. When I first found the account, I clicked on it, I was like, okay, Harden's gonna opt in and request a trade. Like, this is not what anybody's been. And then, bam.
Yeah. So the news is they're still dropping dimes. I mean, that's the news on it.
Yeah.
Do you think that Cameron wants to know if you think they'll make a trade for Miles Turner?
Take the floor.
Oh yeah, this is my guy.
This is your guy.
I can't imagine the Pacers trading him unless it's that 3-team trade we talked about the other day, where the Mavs send a couple of guys to Phoenix. Phoenix sends Ayton to the Pacers, and then the Pacers send Miles Turner to the Mavericks. In that scenario, so the Suns get a couple of guys, the Pacers get DeAndre Ayton, who they believed in last year. But between that signing of DeAndre Ayton and now, Miles Turner had the best year of his career, which is why I was kind of like, oh, well, I don't think they're going to be able to get him now because they've been he's just been so much better. So yeah. So Cameron, I don't think they'll be able to do it unless it's that 3-team trade, which, hey, you never know. But
hey, also, they gave Bruce Brown the big contract. All the teams out there are like, hey, can we get it for the MLE? And he ends up getting 22 in this first year.
What I tell you, they went to Bruce Brown. They said, how about you live in Indiana? And he said, how about you give me $10 more million? And that's what they did.
I will say, I think it's an awesome fit. Him and Halliburton together, Mathurin, those guys. It feels like, they're obviously trying to take a step next year. They should be a lot of fun. Now he gets to play for Rick Carlisle.
I was going to say a Rick Carlisle lineup of Bruce Brown, Halliburton, and Buddy Hield, like the 3-guard lineup.
2000.
Nembhard. Throw Nembhard, Bruce Brown, Buddy. Oh, McConnell. No, the Rick Carlisle lineup is Nembhard, McConnell, and Bruce Brown. That's the 3-guard lineup that Rick will throw out there. We hit 2,000.
Yeah.
This is our record, I think, for most concurrent live viewers.
Hey guys, in the chat, let us know what you think about Dwight Powell coming back to Dallas.
Shout out to Masta Fame. Appreciate you. Every bit does that. We've never done super chats before, so this is new for us. We're trying it. We're trying it out.
Yeah, Nick's gonna get fired from his job for this.
Probably. Zay says hit that like button. Appreciate everybody for doing that. And then Danny says that, you know, he might be the only MFFL in the Bronx. So if you're an MFFL in the Bronx, let Danny know.
No, you can't be the only one, Danny.
And then he said he wants him to sign Dylan Brooks. The Stars need defenders. And then he says cough cough Stanley Johnson. He's still out. Stanley Johnson's still out there.
Yeah, didn't he work out for somebody the other day?
He did.
So somebody just asked if this is OnlyFans.
Only fans of the Mavs.
Yes.
Stanley Johnson worked out for the Suns, didn't he? Yeah, he was with the Jabari Parker workout. Everybody forgets about Stanley Johnson.
Shout out to Jabari. Summer League. That's why you're going to Summer League.
That one's funny. So, Danny, I'm with you. They got to sign defenders. They got to sign another wing defender. I think that's what they're going to do with the MLE. So,
this guy says, Mavs fan from Taiwan. How's Dwight doing? Dwight Howard.
Oh, you're asking? You're asking the...
Yeah.
Zach Scott said, well, you can do more live shows like this. I think so. I don't know if we'll do more super chats. I just wanted to test it out.
This was so, like, we were going to record, and Nick's like, hey, let's just go live.
Let's just go live and have fun with it.
All right.
And so here we are with it. Shout out to Juan, too. Appreciate Juan. Yeah. What's the next move? I'm waiting because I want to see what happens at midnight with all these extensions and stuff.
Yeah, we got to stay on here for at least another
for a little while. What's the next move for the Mavs? Let's do that now.
I mean, I honestly think we're waiting on the other part of the Houston free agency stuff. I already said it on here a little bit ago, but you know, if they had $60-something million in cap, they gave 42 of it this year to Fred VanVleet. They have roughly around 20 more. I think it's probably either Brook Lopez or Dylan Brooks. I don't think they can get them both. So if they do get Brook Lopez, is Dallas waiting on Dylan Brooks right now? You know, are they waiting on the Brook Lopez decision before, you know, because then at that point, you know, Dylan Brooks can go anywhere else, but he could be a fit in Dallas, you know, for the MLE stuff. So, and then Boston's, you know, they might be waiting on that. You know, Grant Williams might be waiting on that. So it could be this whole trickle down effect.
And we've also got several teams probably waiting on James Harden
and Damian Lillard. I gotta say this.
I can't say waiting for Damian Lillard anymore.
No,
it's just done. I mean, it's just done.
I gotta say this.
I just can't anymore with.
If Dame requests out now, that's such a low blow because you're not going to request out before free agency. Now you're going to like basically force Portland's hand to give $30-something million a year to Jeremy Grant. And then if Dame comes now and says, hey, so I want out, thanks for paying my guy. And there's like, what? We would have just tanked. Like, but now we have $32 million a year to Jeremy Grant. Like, that's kind of.
He wanted to get his guy paid, and then he wanted out. I mean, how much more do I have to explain this to you?
They rescind the offer.
Joe asked, will y'all explain the radio silence on Holmes? Yeah, we can very easily. The trade's not done yet. The Mavs literally can't talk about him yet because the trade isn't completed. There's a weird loophole. Mavs PR told us there's a weird loophole that they can talk about the draft pick that they made, but they can't make the deal officially. And it's just still open, so they can still add to that trade too, which is kind of cool that they could add a third team to it and do something. Or, you know, 2 or 3 more teams to it and do something, make it bigger and expand the trade. So that's why they haven't mentioned anything about Rashawn Holmes yet.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of sucks, but we might not see this trade, you know, done until next Friday. So, speaking of next Friday with the moratorium and all of that, I don't even want to speak this into existence. So I know the chat's probably going to come after me.
Oh, God.
Give me a percentage that okay, let me word it this way.
Being very careful here.
I know, because I'm scared. I don't want to speak it into existence because then people are going to blame me. Would you bet your life on it?
Are you doing the thing that you did to me yesterday?
No. Would you bet your life on it that Kyrie doesn't change his mind?
Come on.
Before the end of the moratorium.
You're 50 minutes into this and we're talking about what ifs on Kyrie.
I'm just saying.
You know what? Hey,
it's great, dude. Dude, it's great. It's great. It's great, broski.
We've
Pro Davis, it's great. It's great. It's great, bro. It's great. It's great. This life's great, bro. I have no complaints. I don't.
I can't help it. We've walked through this with DeAndre. I'm just saying, would you be shocked if it was like Wednesday or Thursday and it's like, hey, Kyrie just had dinner with LeBron?
Because what's gonna change? He's gonna go take the minimum somewhere.
All right, good. All right, I just got off my chest. I just want to.
He just locked up $126 million.
I know it's good.
Guaranteed for him.
Let's move on.
And but let me ease, because some people may have that same issue too. Let me ease some of your worries. Maybe the difference between what the Mavericks are doing right now and what the Brooklyn Nets did, besides COVID and him not taking the shot and sitting out, that's a whole other extraneous situation that he was in. The Nets didn't want to give him the deal that he wanted. The Mavericks just did give him the deal that he wanted. They gave him the player option. They allowed him, they allowed negotiation. For all we know, Kyrie got what he wanted, right? And so they've been working with him. And the big thing that everybody's been talking about around the Mavericks, Nico Harrison, relationships, Nike. He's known him since he was in high school.
All right, good. Thank you for saying all that.
Right?
I'm sorry, everyone in the chat saying PTSD from DeAndre. I know that I remember those emoji days.
We got a subtext text that said,
guys, my wife just texted me and said, "Are you still recording?"
Sorry. We just got a text yesterday that said, if there's one free agent you'd want to lock in a room like DeAndre, who would it be? And I was like, it's got to be Kyrie, right? But then after that, I don't know. A couple other questions. JP wants to know if there's any chance for a Capella deal. Yeah, I think yes, because Scotto reported yesterday from Hoops Hype that the Hawks are still looking to move somebody. They talked about they've inquired on DeJounte Murray trades across the league, and DeAndre Hunter and Clint Capella. They've got to move somebody, I think, because they've just got too many salaries for them to re-sign a Kongwu next year and DeJounte Murray next year and Sadiq Bey next year. It's just a lot for them to try to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, my wife's texted me, so I was like,
Zay said, how do we get Jared Allen here? Also, Suns in 8.
Suns in 8.
Yeah, they didn't make it. They didn't make it to 8. It was
8 minimum contracts.
No,
one of my favorite things right now is I love Eddie Johnson on Twitter, who for the past 2 years he always does the hashtag "We still good," and now he's like "We very good." I'm like, bro, y'all haven't done anything.
They made the finals.
They did
made the finals,
yes, and then got embarrassed 2 years in a row.
If we're gonna tout making the Western Conference Finals for the Mavericks, I'm letting them tout finals. That's fine, right?
We also have had Luka playing with me and you. They've put together these big time contract teams.
There's no one on the Mavericks as slow as me. Even
if they don't make it to the conference finals this year, then I mean
the Suns, yeah, right.
The issued statement from the organization is going to be tough to the fans.
But is there any way to get Jared Allen? There was a fake. Did you see this fake Jared Allen to the Mavericks trade that was floating around? One of those fan accounts, NBA fan accounts, tweeted that Mark Stein reports that a Jared Allen sign and trade for Christian Wood is in the works and is looming. And then he tagged Mark Stein in it. And then somebody took that tweet and put it in Mark Stein's chat in his subtext or in his Substack. And then Mark Stein came into Twitter and then replied to that and said, "I've never reported this. This is not true."
I don't know what I would even do. Where's Christian Wood going, guys? 4 for 77.
I told you this yesterday. We're gonna have to wait. I mean, we're gonna have to wait days for that one because he's gonna wait until somebody gets desperate and somebody decides to make it. Because there's just
him out.
There's no money out there for him.
$77 million.
You got the Rockets and the Spurs. The Jazz still have money. I was listening to Locked On Jazz today, and they still have money.
I remember those days.
Cash wants to know if Miles Turner is dead. I don't think Miles Turner is dead. I just don't think I don't think the Suns would want to trade, or the Pacers would want to trade him.
Well, I hope he's not dead.
Yeah, he looks like he's having fun. I follow his Instagram closely because I want to make sure.
And his Twitter likes. You really follow those.
He liked a tweet of JJ Redick talking about what the Mavericks need to build around Luka, and it was a center that could shoot and block shots, and it was actually him, and he liked it. I'm just saying.
Where's some of these extensions happening? Also, is Dropping Dimes tweeting right now? I need y'all to let me know.
I haven't seen any Dropping Dimes tweets.
Do you have them on notifications or something?
No, I have him on one of my lists, though. Actually, he did tweet a He tweeted a YouTube video a little while ago. A Gunna song that I don't know.
Would you be interested in Plumlee or a surprising addition to free agency today, Jock Landale?
The Jock Landale one did surprise me that the Suns got off of him.
Are we sure Eubanks is better than him?
No, I don't know. I think they may have thought that Jock Landale was going to get more, and then. But the Suns then signed Eubanks, like you said, Katie Bates-Diop, which is a sneaky good move that I really like. 2 years, $5 million. The Mavericks could have done that. They decided not to. But in the tweet announcing him, it said that he has a chance to start for them, and I was like, oh god, oh boy,
wow.
Damian Lee going back, Okogie going back, Chimezie Metu going back, Chimezie Metu going to the Suns of. Didn't he hit the game winner against the Mavs?
Yeah, and everybody freaked out about why he was left open. I'm like, dude, it's Metu.
Yuta Watanabe, who is like NBA nerds, like free agent darling over the last couple of weeks.
Hey, we brought him up on our show.
We did, yeah.
Yeah.
Who was the other one you mentioned? Because I don't listen to you.
I mean, we talked about a lot. But
no, but you said there was another move that you were interested in.
Oh no, I said Plumlee and Landale.
Yeah, they're out there.
Both of them.
Would either of them start over Dwight Powell?
For 29 other teams, yes. I don't know if in Dallas.
So the only other real rumor we got today, besides Seth and Kyrie, is that Dwight Powell is expected to come back. Mark Stein, I think Jake Fisher also reported that they expect Dwight Powell to come back. Tim McMahon made a really big pitch for him on the Fan the other night of Dwight Powell. So we expect him to come back. What are your thoughts on Dwight coming back?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, Dwight's beloved in the organization. Shocker. I mean, y'all knew that, but I mean, everybody likes him. Young guys like him. Luka likes him. He's a great vet to have in the locker room. I mean, if you're looking at a minimum contract, then let's do it. Like, sign me up. You got to figure out still, like, what's the other centers in your rotation? Like, are you doing a rotation again, or are you going to make the big investment? Because, you know, Dwight and Rashawn Holmes is kind of Spider-Man meme-ish. You still have JaVale, who couldn't play last year. Now you took Derek Lively, but you're trying to trade. Do you sign another guy? Like, there's going to be a trade or two for Dallas that's going to happen over the next few days, probably.
I'm with you. I think they got to do something else. Danny wants to know if the Mavs can put together a deal to overwhelm Masai and land OG. No, not overwhelm. Definitely not overwhelm.
OG, no. I think, yeah, I've already done the whole Siakam thing, but I think OG would cost more than Siakam.
Because he's signed for longer. He's younger.
Yeah.
Siakam may be a flight risk for them for just 1 year, unrestricted next year. So they're asking for, like, they turned down a deal, I think, for like 3 first-round picks for OG, right? During the season.
Yeah.
So I don't think they can overwhelm them. I don't think they have enough stuff to get them. So sorry, Danny.
I'll tell you another wing I like is
John said. Sorry, one more thing. John says the chips are going to be in the freezer tonight if we get Miles Turner.
Oh, dude, those Fritos in the freezer. I have a bag of those now.
You do? You put them in the freezer?
No, I'm not, because I'm not like that.
To just try them?
Why would I want to do that? And just break my teeth?
No.
Like, what? I don't understand.
Isaac and I we have very different tastes too, so I don't expect you to like them, to be honest.
I also don't even want to like have the visual of like, do you just suck on them frozen?
There was nowhere for that sentence to go that was going to be productive in any way. Yeah. Coy says that a 3-way Suns get Tim and Holmes and maybe McGee to Pacers. Yeah. That's the way that's the only way I think the Miles Turner type thing goes down.
Yeah. Cause Rick signed up for JaVale McGee
again. Yeah. I don't think that would happen. Yeah. The first time around with JaVale did not go well with Rick Carlisle, but if they like Ayton a lot better, then maybe you do that kind of deal. But I don't know. I still don't know why the Suns would give up on Ayton. They would have no centers. They would have Eubanks and Bismack, and then they would have Rashawn Holmes, and that would be it. Like that's not going to get them anywhere. So
yeah, but they might want to. My wife's texting me about.
You didn't tell her that it was free. I told my wife it's free agency. I'm sitting up in my room and I'm literally not leaving.
No, it's been my excuse all day to not do anything. But we had to go out and do things in town. But
did you ride your horse and buggy
into town? Yeah, we went to
go pick up your milk in bottles.
We went to the saloon and got a drink
at the local watering hole.
So I don't forget what I was gonna freaking say.
Town. People that don't live in Dallas are like, man, those guys, they ride their horses into town and they
shut up. I like Jalen McDaniels.
Yes.
As a wing target that's still out there. I feel like I was gonna say, oh no, about the Phoenix thing.
Yeah.
The Phoenix thing, if they do trade Ayton and split him into a few pieces, I do think they could go out and get, like, could they convince Plumlee to come on a minimum? Like, it wouldn't shock me if Phoenix is like, hey, Plumlee, Rashawn Holmes, and Eubanks is going to be like our center rotation because, hey, we know when it's crunch time, we might be putting KD at the 5, and it's KD, Beal, Booker, and all of that. So.
And they have Bismack too. They could have all 4 of them. Just get 4 below average centers and see if that works. Who has anyone done that recently and seen if it would work?
I don't know. The bullpen approach. Was there a signing today? I'm still holding out for like one more signing or trade.
Literally haven't seen any signings since.
I think your extension thing was full of crap.
Well, blame Keith Smith.
Keith Pompey.
Pompey knows his stuff.
Was there a signing today that like really surprised you? A signing or extension?
The Van Vliet one with the money really did. Bruce Brown with the money, 2 years, 45. We talked about that one, but that was a Mavericks target that he got paid like almost double what the Mavericks could offer him. That one was surprising. And then the one that like really shocked me was Javon Carter to the Bulls. 3 years.
I don't know what's going on there.
3 years, $20 million, and you're like, okay. What are you going to do with Io? You're not bringing Patrick Beverly back, I guess. Well, like, I don't know what the Bulls are really doing there. They're just kind of like, I guess they get better with that deal. Like, he's a younger version of what Patrick Beverly can be, better shooter earlier in his career.
Yeah.
That one was weird to me.
Joe Ingles to Orlando was kind of funny.
That's the one.
But I get it because I like young teams getting, adding guys to the rotation that are older, and I'm really curious on where Kai Soto goes in free agency.
We're already at 2,000 viewers. Do you want 3,000 viewers?
Just hopped up. Derrick Rose to Memphis.
I liked that one.
Yeah, it's a good move for them. Apparently, Derrick Rose is viewed as a vet mentor now. So,
I mean, we were going to talk about him with the Mavericks. I suggested him a couple times. Were you surprised by Karis LeVert back to the Cavs?
Kinda, because they just need shooting. So, I get why they brought him back. So, sure, cool. Now, I'll tell you one I was surprised by, and it shouldn't matter too much at all. But the Reggie Jackson thing to Denver, the fact that Reggie Jackson cost more than Seth Curry was just dumb to me. Like, Reggie Jackson couldn't even play for him at all. Like, he was just DNP-CD in playoffs. But
it was their own guy. Like, they couldn't get anybody else at that number.
Well, congrats. And they also brought back DeAndre Jordan too. And it's like, all right, y'all really trying to run this back.
So there was that. Reggie Jackson costing less than Seth Curry. And then also
more than Seth Curry.
Oh, yeah. And then there was Kyrie costing less than Fred VanVleet. That's 2 moves that I looked at today and said, oh, I think Nico did a good job today.
Yeah.
It's been an hour since I've said this, but shout out to Kyrie's agent, Shatilla Riley Irving, who's his stepmom, but it is his agent. And she's the first black woman to negotiate and complete an NBA contract. That stat today,
it's awesome.
Blew me away. I couldn't believe that was real. It's super cool. Shams reported that. And that's just really cool for her to, my dog is really into that deal.
Yeah.
To negotiate that deal, get it done, and now he comes back to $126 million. First of all, $126 million. You get agents get like 3-4% of that. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Let's take a few questions in the chat, and then
we're out of super chats finally. Like, you guys overwhelmed me with super chats. That was insane.
Yeah, drop some questions in the chat there, and
Knight wants to know if Blake Griffin is available. The answer is yes.
yes, for all the comedy clubs and a team. But
Jared thinks my dog is racist.
whoa. This person wants to know if you are wearing pants.
I am. No, I'm wearing shorts, but hey, here we are.
Bird dogs?
Cameron just said, you guys are awesome. Hope you keep the super chat. Nick, have a good fourth. Everybody else, have a good fourth.
Did he really just say just you? Like,
Yeah, it's on the screen. Can you see?
oh,
it?
Nick and y'all. All right, cool.
Nick and y'all. You're y'all, I guess.
Thanks.
You do say y'all more than me.
Y'all.
Another question from Wendy. Do you think the Mavs would have interest in either Mo Bamba, Jackson Hayes, or Billy Hernan go Mavs? By the way,
Billy Boy.
I said Billy Hernan go Mavs on the Locked On NBA instant reaction with Jake Madison on accident.
That's awesome.
You can hear it if you go to Locked On Pelicans and listen to that one with me and him. You can hear it. But Mo Bamba, maybe. Jackson Hayes, I think they'll stay away from. He's had an off-the-court domestic violence situation, got arrested, probation, and all that kind of stuff. I think the Mavs stay away from that situation because of some of the past things in their history. Willie, I think, yeah, on a minimum, I'd be so down to have one of Luka's friends join. Like, if you want to get one of Luka's friends, here's one that's available.
Yeah, I don't know what Mo Bamba's going to go for. If they do the whole like bullpen approach again, then oof. I don't know, maybe, but probably not.
You're taking a swing on Mo Bamba though, because he's not coming in and like we said yesterday, he's not coming in with one guaranteed skill. Right?
Yes.
Like,
yeah,
he's not coming in with that. So you're taking a swing on a guy that can shoot, maybe defend the rim a little bit, and like him and Derek Lively. Like, Mo Bamba's also 25 too. Like, you'd think he's 22, 23, but he's not. I mean, he's a little older. This is your favorite. N Starks. Any word on Christian Wood?
I don't know. Ask Pinsack.
He's not coming back to the Mavericks. It's done. It's just not there. And so we'll see what happens.
I'm sure his agent's working the DMs.
The Clippers have been interested in him in the past. Maybe there's a sign and trade opportunity with them there, but then
I saw the funniest thing the other day about the Heat rumor. And
go ahead.
And somebody said this would be the ultimate Heat check on Heat culture.
That would be if they got Hassan Whiteside. Okay, we actually got a real report. Tyrese Halliburton and the Indiana Pacers 5-year, $260 million deal.
Wow. Something tells me that we might not see the Clippers guys sign that extension.
No, but they said it could be worth up to 260. That's $52 million a year.
Wow. I mean,
Tyrese Halliburton.
It's hard to like comprehend that now because the cap's going to go up and some of these numbers are going to. I mean, I've seen some projection on Jaylen Brown's deal to where the last year of his deal could be in like the high 60s or something.
Well, the last year of Dame's deal is high 60s.
It's insane.
$52 million a year for Halliburton is, but yeah, in this new CBA, the cap is going to go up and it goes up 10% every year. It has the cap smoothing, so there's going to be no spike like it did when the Warriors signed KD. But it's going to keep going up. I mean, it just is. And if inflation.
Somebody offered to buy me applesauce if we traded for Miles Turner. I'm down.
Vince wants to know how much to donate for Isaac to remove the beanie.
Should we up the price?
Vince, I want you to know he thought about it for the $2 that you said it.
$20. $20.
If you give them a number, they'll give it to you. So don't do it unless you're really going to do it, because they will give it, and then all of a sudden you'll have to.
But what if I don't have any hair?
You gone bald since the last time I saw you? Classic said, any chance of Clint Capella? I think so. I think the Hawks are still going to dump somebody, but I don't know who they give up at this, who the Mavericks give up at this point. I don't know if they're interested in a Tim. Like Tim for Capella, that saves them marginal money here and there.
Tim Cato's in the chat.
Is it the real Tim Cato? You didn't text us fake Tim
no,
Cato.
He did.
He texted you?
No, he texted us.
He did text me, and my numbers haven't been.
I don't know how desperate. Yeah, Tim Cato would be the one to answer this. I don't know how desperate Atlanta is to get off money, and is it more for this year, or is it more like long term, and all of that? So I just don't know how desperate they are. I don't know what the thing is for them right now.
Okay, so we do have confirmation this is the real Tim.
Yeah.
Tim will tell you that's the best offer, the best rumor he's got if you take the beanie off.
All right, Tim, you got to text us the rumor, and we won't say it, but we'll recognize the text. This is worth the $20.
He has real hair. You have hair. It's not even like it's receding or any, like that much or anything.
Oh my God. Someone in the chat.
What? Oh my God.
All right, Tim.
Vince upped it. $50. That's insane.
Let's go,
man.
Vince. I don't. Now this is getting weird. Like really, OnlyFans. Like, hey, we'll pay this to do this. It's like, no, I
I don't know if I can turn it off either. Oh
Tim,
my gosh.
You don't even have one. Don't even.
Tim texted us with an expletive and said he does not have one. So shout out to Tim for faking it and letting all you guys see Isaac's hair. It's cemented forever. Oh my God.
Hey, somebody mentioned Dennis in the chat. I'd be down. I mean, some of the stuff when he first, left was, kind of, it was I would say a rocky exit, on both sides, but I like the change that he's made in his career. I think he's proven enough to get another contract in the league, and yeah, sure, bring him back.
Especially since now they need a defensive guard because they don't have any. I mean, they have Josh Green, they have Reggie Bullock to guard guards, but they still don't have anybody to really like get in there and guard
him and Seth back together again.
Nova said, given the possibility, you guys think about Dorian Finney-Smith being waived or traded by the Nets. He's not going to get waived. They're expecting a first for him, or I mean, that's the last thing that we've heard about him.
Yeah, I don't think he's getting waived. No, they got to turn his contract into an asset or something. So,
Sax God wants to know if Kyrie will come off the bench to help the flow. No, but they'll stagger Luka and Kyrie. So they'll one of those guys will be on the court at all times. We saw that last year. We'll see it again.
Bro, Majestic just said I look like an elf on the shelf. My beanie's coming back now.
Do you have a Santa hat anywhere?
I don't want to be an elf on the shelf. This person said $100 to put it back on. Well, dang it. I didn't read that.
You just did it for free. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And then Coy wants to know odds of Jeff Van Gundy coming to coach with Kid. Jeff Van Gundy's out of a job all of a sudden. What happened at ESPN today?
Yeah, well, I mean, I said this earlier. There's probably new people in the chat now, but I texted Nick this morning. And I was like, is Jeff Van Gundy going to be the biggest Mavs signing today? But
still funny. I've laughed 3 times at that today.
I mean, it is really sad. I hate when any of the companies, do any type of layoffs like that. I hate it. And, it's tough. I think some people look at it and just say, oh, these people make a ton of money and all that, but it's still tough. These people got families, and I hate all that. I hate when seeing layoffs like that.
There's a lot. I know Todd McShay's mom, and that's crazy to like know somebody and then to see like, hey, their son just got laid off by ESPN. That's nuts.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? We just got Tyrese Halliburton, and that's the only real thing we've seen so far. As soon as we log off, we'll get a whole bunch of them.
Andrew asked about Claxton. Claxton would be awesome. I'm probably too high on Claxton, but I love him.
Would you still do Claxton even now that they have Lively?
Yep, I would.
Okay.
Think we can McDaniels to complete the wing defense. Yeah, I mean, reminder, it's not Jaden McDaniels. It's not the McDaniels in Minnesota, but it's Jalen. Yeah, it was weird because Philly traded for him. I thought he'd have a bigger role, more consistent role, and he didn't. But yeah, I would take him as a wing defender. That's the type of thing. It's like if they could trade for what?
Desmond Bane, 5 years, 207.
Wow.
$41 million, short arms. Who cares? Right in the backyard.
Backyard down the street.
$41 million a year.
That's crazy. You know how many teams could have had Desmond Bane? All of them.
All right. I
That's a lot of
think we're out.
Steady 2K in here. So
We'll do. Yeah. Appreciate. Man, this was overwhelming.
what are you gonna do with this audio? Are you gonna drop this?
I'll drop it. I'll probably do an explainer at the beginning and explain it to everybody. But appreciate each and every one of you guys that have jumped in here, sent super chats. We were trying it out. We'll see what happens in the future. I'll have to send this to my bosses and see what happens.
Don't send them the money we got in the super chat.
But yeah,
We'll
be back tomorrow with an episode. If the Mavs do anything, if they don't do anything, we'll just come back. We're doing every day. We appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs.
Appreciate y'all. Peace out.
Boom.